Well, welcome to Your In Depth, where we walk through and break down our favorite fictional universes. Today, we're starting part 4 of Return of the King. If you listen to the last episode, you'll know exactly where we are starting off in like our coverage as far as watching alongside it. Which, Evan, what's the timestamp?
We're at 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 42 seconds.
Okay, and we're running this until just about 3 hours.
Maybe.
But this, well, no, I mean in the
Yeah, no, I know, maybe.
Well, yeah, maybe. But anyway, we last left off seeing Frodo. He had outran Shelob and had a little like weird visit from Galadriel and pushed onward on his mission to get all the way to where he needs to go. But
heckin' threw Gollum over a cliff.
He did.
Yeah.
But now we are picking up after that, and we cut back to Éomer and Theoden's group. We see Éowyn and Merry having a talk, and Merry says he just wishes to see his friends again, because I think they're kind of talking about what they wish to see as an outcome, or just what they miss, and he just says he wants to see his friends again. He misses them.
Yeah, because we see Theoden and Éomer real quick, like, oh, the siege has already started, we gotta hurry then. And yeah, Éowyn and Merry just kind of having like maybe like a heart-to-heart, but like, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like
I think they're just
little
sharing.
dialogue thing.
Yeah. But
yeah, because Merry talks about like not having much hope, but he like you said, he just wants to see his friends again.
Yeah.
And he talks about like, I'm not, a knight of Rohan capable of great deeds. I'm just a hobbit. And Éowyn kind of gives him like a little inspiring, like, no, we can do it. I believe in you, type of thing.
Yeah. But they all take off and ride through the night to get to Minas Tirith, as scouts did report that they are under attack.
We don't
Minas
have.
Tirith. Mm-hmm.
Well, and we don't have like as far as I know, there's not like a time frame of how long they've been riding since they left Dunharrow either.
Yeah.
Because if you look at a map of Middle Earth, you've got like the long mountain range going east and west, and Minas Tirith is like on the far eastern side of that mountain range, right there at the end of the mountain range is where Minas Tirith is, and Dunharrow's like about halfway across that mountain range heading west. So I mean, like it's a good distance, like probably a couple 100 miles at least.
Yeah.
And so I mean, like they're obviously pushing hard because I got to get there before Gondor falls. But they've been traveling for some time.
Yeah. But we see at Minas Tirith, flaming stones are being big old boulders being catapulted at the city. Gandalf and the army kind of prepare at that gate that the big wolf's head thing is smashing at.
Yep, and they have transitioned it to nighttime as well for this part. Just kind of showing that the battle is progressing and it's still going. But we do see, as it kind of gives a zoomed out picture of the walls, we do see they're still fighting on the walls, like they're still fighting, or at least on the front wall of Gondor. And there's soldiers running on the different layers of wall layers and whatnot. And so it's like the orcs have not taken the outer wall yet. They're still fighting there, but Gandalf obviously sees that, like, we got to get to the gate or we're done for, you know? But I do like that it's just a quick shot is all it is. They give like this kind of top down view, but I do like that they give it just to show that, it's not just a fixed one spot battle happening. Like it's all across the whole of the outer wall of Minas Tirith.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Denethor gets ready to have a Viking funeral for Faramir. Though, as we've seen, Faramir is still alive.
Yeah.
Just wounded, obviously. But the way he kind of talks throughout this, we see that he's planning to burn himself as well.
Yeah.
And completely end his line, which I guess...
it's kind of like, again, we have to remember that Denethor has gone mad at this point, so you can't really look for logic in his thinking at this point.
Right. Yeah.
You know? But, it's not unheard of for, like, a king or a lord or something like that to kind of, like, kill themselves along with a burial for their last son. If they're, like an older lord. And Denethor is older. I mean, Boromir, when he dies, Boromir's in his 30s. So Denethor's, at the bare minimum, Denethor's probably in, like, his 50s. And that's probably doesn't have too much longer left to live in, like, a medieval world, where, like, hygiene's probably not the best. Diet is probably not, like, something that they watch, that sort of thing, to live longer. So he's probably doesn't have too many years left. So, it would make sense from a logical standpoint for him to be like, this is how I go, instead of letting these orcs beat me to death.
Yeah. The gate breaks down, though.
Yeah. So,
and in come a bunch of trolls swinging. But,
So as we see, because this is an important detail, as we see Denethor taking Faramir's body, or taking Faramir to his final resting place, we do get a quick shot of the Tree of Gondor, and it does have a flower blooming on it.
Oh.
And if any of those remembering back, Gandalf had told Pippin earlier in the movie that, because Pippin was asking about the white tree and why they still guarded it, and he basically says, like, in hopes that, a king of Gondor will return and the tree will blossom again. Well, the tree's starting to blossom again.
Yeah.
Kind of like foreshadowing, like hint, hint, nudge, nudge type of deal. But then, it does go back down to the gate, like you said. And this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. This part, and then a part that's coming up.
Okay.
As we see, like you said, they've got it down there at the gate with Gandalf and the Gondor soldiers all formed up, spears at the ready, and we see the trolls pulling Grond back and letting go so it breaks through the gate. And another important thing with this gate as well, the gate of Minas Tirith, is it's never been breached before. In the thousands of years that Gondor has stood, the gates of Minas Tirith have never been breached before. And so it's kind of like this cool, like, symbolism, as well as just displaying the power of this giant ram, of Grond. Because it's like the symbolism all the way back into the First Age with Morgoth and, his Warhammer and whatnot. Like, he laid kingdoms to ruin. He destroyed landmasses, like I talked about last episode. And so it's like the fact that this giant ram, or the wolf's head as they called it, right, is named after Morgoth's hammer, is the one thing that breaks through the gate. It's like that symbolism kind of nod back to Morgoth, and then just showing the power of this weapon as well, that this is what it took to break through the gates of Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
And I like his little speech that he gives too. Like, after they see the wolf's head break through for the first time, right?
Oh yeah.
And all the soldiers see it, and you can kind of see their fear. And he's like, Gandalf goes, "You are soldiers of Gondor. No matter what comes through that gate, you will stand your ground." And then it hits again, and you just see, like, freaking dozens of trolls come running in.
And start, like, just demolishing.
Yeah, and you see like the Gondor spearmen charge up and try and fight them. They're just getting swatted aside and smashed and whatnot, like turned into putty. And then Gandalf gives the fire of the arrows from the archers, and you only see him take down one, and then more of them keep coming, and the orcs charge in, and they have at this point breached the gate. They're into the city, well and true. We do see Gandalf take out one or two of them. He like rides by on Shadowfax, cutting its throat. But and I'm just thinking, like, man, you got all these Gondor soldiers with all their spears, aim for the throat. You just saw Gandalf do it. Aim for the throat.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
But no, I mean, like, again, on like it's another kind of like intimidation factor here, though. Like, like you have mere mortal men, right, that have been fighting for however many days now at Minas Tirith, and then you see this giant flaming wolf head smashed through the top of your gate. You know, you get your little kind of speech from Gandalf, like, "Stand fast, men. We have to hold the line," whatever, you know. And then it smashes through again. You just hear trolls like roaring at the top of their lungs with giant war hammers and clubs with spikes on them, you know. and it's just like the intimidation factor of like Mordor is top tier. Mordor really goes big on the intimidation factor.
Yeah. But we cut over to Frodo, who sees the tower that the tower, you know, with the eye. He sees it in the distance, and as he's looking, what?
That is not the tower with the eye.
Is it not? I thought it looked like it had the eye at the top of it.
It is not. That is not Better Doer. That is Cirith Ungol.
Okay. Does it have an eye on the top of it?
It has a flame up top.
Oh, a
like,
flame.
Almost
okay.
almost like kind of like a lighthouse almost, or like a beacon.
Yeah.
It does have a light up there, so there is fire up top, probably
That's
from
why
like some torches. Yeah, that's probably where you kind of
because often when I'm taking notes, I'm not really watching too obviously too in depth. I'm just kind of going back and forth. But
but yeah, so that is the fortress of Cirith Ungol, which is so basically if you're going into Mordor, right, from going west to east, instead of going down through the Black Gates, you can go through this path, or this pass that takes you past Minas Morgul, which is where we saw the Witch King send out the armies of Mordor to go attack Osgiliath, where he screeched and Frodo kind of started walking towards the gate, and then, you know, the ring, his Morgul wound kind of flared up and whatnot, right there before they went up the stairs. And so if you were to go through this passway or this valley to get into Mordor, you have to go past Minas Morgul, continue down the road, then you have to get past Cirith Ungol at the other end of the valley to get into Mordor. So it's basically like Minas Morgul is the front defensive line through this pass. Cirith Ungol is the back defensive line of this pass. For these two fortresses that kind of block the path into Mordor. As well, I don't know if I mentioned it with the whole Minas Morgul area where it was all like green and like magic-y, like dark magic stuff. That used to be a fortress of Gondor before Sauron like really started coming back and grew in power and took it from Gondor. It was kind of like almost like their forward outpost to keep an eye on the lands of Mordor after the Battle of the Last Alliance. And you know, Sauron took it, gave it to the Witch King of Angmar, who corrupted it with his black magic, making it all dark and spooky and that green glow around it.
I see.
But yeah.
As Frodo's looking at that tower, though, we see Shelob behind him very quietly.
Yeah, which
Frodo does not hear her and gets... Go ahead.
No, sorry, finish the...
Well, he gets... Yeah. She's got like a little stinger on her butt and stings him, which like... she stabs him and then spins him up in her web.
Yeah. And just like how quiet she is, because watching the movie, like they don't have music playing. They don't have any sort of background noise. You don't hear any wildlife. It's dead silent. Like, you don't even hear Frodo stepping because, like, as Gandalf says in The Hobbit, the first one, as he's talking to Thorin, like, hobbits can be light on their feet. They can go unseen by most if they choose to. Frodo, obviously being a hobbit, can do that. And so, like, there is zero noise, quiet as a mouse. And just, like, the fact that a creature of her size, number one, can move around silently like that. And the fact that she's like climbing up on rocks and stuff, like doesn't accidentally like hit a pebble down. And you don't hear like a clink or anything like that. It's kind of like this really like eerie,
very
kind of creepy, point in the movie. But like you said, she does get him with her stinger. And like other animals or insects, more specifically insects with stingers and whatnot in the real world, right? She stabs him and then she pumps in whatever toxin she has to kind of paralyze him, or knock him out. And because with this as well, because we see something similar in the Hobbit movies, right, with Thorin's company when they're going through Mirkwood with the spiders. So a little bit of a connection here. One of those spiders that we hear talk in the Hobbit is actually an offspring of Shelob. And so when that spider grew up and got big, it tried to, I don't remember if it tried to take over and like kill Shelob and take over this area, this brood or this nest, or what exactly, but it got kicked out and fled to Mirkwood and started another group of spiders there in Mirkwood.
Interesting connection.
So it's you got like Ungoliant, mother of Shelob. Shelob, mother of, I'm drawing a blank on the other spider's name from The Hobbit, but Shelob spider.
Charlotte.
We'll go with Charlotte. But Shelob, mother of Charlotte, over in Mirkwood.
Yeah.
And so even the dwarves of Thorin's company fought some offsprings of Ungoliant.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's that cool connection there, and I guess like you could try like, oh, creepy, gross looking spiders, creepy, gross looking spider, Shelob. Maybe there's some connection, but there is a solid connection between them.
Yeah.
There.
So as she wraps him up, Sam comes in and he has the light. I forget the name of it. Elendil.
Yeah. It's called a phial. Phial.
Oh.
It's kind of like that's the name of like the shape of the container and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the light of Elendil.
Okay. Well,
Or
anyway.
maybe not Elendil, because that's Isildur's father.
Elendil. I had it
Is that
written down. Let me look.
Yeah, double check that. I mean, I guess it could be, but I don't see why it would be, because this is like a sacred star to the elves. Unless Elendil was named after said star.
I have it written down as Aelendil, Aelendil, but I don't even know if I just attempted to. No, that one I was like, dang it, what the heck's the name of that? So I looked it up, I think.
Okay, so I'm guessing then Elendil, because Elendil is the father of Isildur. So I'm guessing. Now I'm not sure if that's
just
right.
look it up.
Elendil
Screw
or
it.
Elisar? I think it's Elendil. Where is my phone at? There it is. It could help if I could spell right. Yeah, Elendil, father of Isildur. So yeah, I'm guessing Elendil is named after the star Elendil. Would be my guess.
Maybe. Let me look. Hold on. LOTR. Light of the file of Galadriel.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I may have written down the wrong thing. Hold on. What did I write? So I think I must have just mistyped that, or it autocorrected to something, but it's made of crystal or the light of Arendil. An R, not an L.
Okay.
So I had it mostly right, but that's weird because I know I would have copied and pasted that word, but interesting. Anyway, so Arendil? Something like that. I don't know. I'm not going to pronounce it again. But yeah, something. Either way, so you, like that, yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah,
not the
sorry.
Same. You're right.
So very close, slightly different.
Yeah.
You're not right, but you're not wrong.
Yeah. I was on the right track, just a letter short. Okay. Yeah. So, Anyway, either way, so Sam comes in with that, and it's Sting, right? That sword.
Yeah, is he using Sting or is he using his other blade?
I just assumed he picked up what Frodo left behind, but actually he may have his own, yeah.
I can't tell. He's swinging around too much. It looks like Sting.
Okay. Well, either way, he's fighting Shelob.
Yeah, it's Sting. I got a good look at it on that one.
Okay.
Yep.
He's fighting her. There's a fight going on. He ends up wounding her, and she takes off.
Yeah, because he catches her in the eye, in one of her eyes with Sting, and then a little further into the fight, he gets underneath her and stabs her in the gut, and like you said, she flees after that.
Yeah.
But the thing that kind of makes me laugh, though, is you've got this hobbit, right, who has a little bit of combat training from Boromir and Aragorn from the first movie. Just a little bit, because we do see a scene in the first one where Boromir's training Merry and Pippin, so we have to assume they're doing a similar thing for Frodo and Sam. Right?
Yeah.
It would not make sense to train Merry and Pippin, but not Frodo and Sam.
Yeah.
And he's holding his own against this giant spider, and he actually wounds it to the point where it flees.
Mm-hmm.
But orcs, who are savage and like fight and kill each other for sport because they're bored in Mordor, go in there and get slaughtered by this thing.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to note, because we were talking about Sting and maybe he's using his own sword. I don't know if I mentioned it before or not, but the blades that Sam, Merry, and Pippin have, that Aragorn gave the four hobbits in the first movie at Weathertop, remember? Because Frodo doesn't have that blade anymore. He just has Sting. But Sam, Merry, and Pippin still have those blades that Aragorn gave them. Those blades are actually significant as well. And they might be good to use against Shelob. Because they were forged, if I'm not mistaken, they were forged by the ancient Dunedain, or before they were Dunedain, they were part of the Kingdom of Arnor. Which, so basically, back in the Second Age, after the War of Wrath and whatnot, you had the Kingdom of Gondor, where it's at now in the movie and whatnot, and then to the north, like north of where Bree is on the map, so you have like the Shire, go east, you run into Bree, go further east, you run to Rivendell. North of all of that, you had the Kingdom of Arnor, which is another kingdom of men, and that's a kingdom that got founded before the Battle of the Last Alliance, and the soldiers that you see fight in the Battle of the Last Alliance at the beginning of the first movie, those are soldiers of Arnor. They're not soldiers of Gondor. And they were great craftsmen. They very talented. They're descendants of the Kingdom of Numenor, which anybody that's watching the Rings of Power show, we've gotten to see Numenor and see like their extravagance and their smithing abilities, their kingdom, and their craftsmanship and whatnot. So like very high level crafting and whatnot. And Arnor had a great relationship with the elves, and so like these blades that Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin are all given in the first movie, and that Sam, Merry, and Pippin still have, they do have a bit of a magical element to them, and they're like an ancient swords, ancient Arnorian weapons that Aragorn just happens to be traveling with. He's got freaking 4 of them in the first movie, and just hands them out like they're candy. But they do have there is like a kind of a lore to them, or a little bit of a history to them.
Okay.
They're more than just kind of simple daggers or short swords. And so I'm wondering, because Shelob is an offspring of Ungoliant, if they would be a little more effective against her because of that ancient magic put on them.
Yeah, maybe.
But again, Sting is made by elves of the first age, which are better than the Númenóreans in terms of crafting and magic. So I guess Sting would be the way to go on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. She flees, though, and Sam sees Frodo, quote unquote, dead.
If only.
He
got some nasty old gunk on his face.
Oh, I know. It's gross.
Yeah, it's nasty, like green gunk sitting right there, like right next to his eye. And...
Oh, wait a minute. I'm dumb. It is Sting. Because in the next scene, Sam's crying over Frodo.
Yeah.
And the sword then glows blue. And if you remember back I don't know if it was first explained. It was in probably in The Hobbit, as far as what we've covered.
So it is explained in The Hobbit, which is where we would have first heard of it in the order that we were covering everything.
Right.
In terms of like when the movies came out, it is explained in The Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay,
Bilbo
it's in
tells
that too.
Frodo that it'll glow blue when orcs are close.
Okay.
He's like, it'll glow blue when orcs are close. It's times like that, my lad, that you must be extra careful.
So yeah, it glows blue, and he just runs off.
Yeah, well,
he hides.
Well, because when Sam sees Frodo after Shelob flees, Frodo's laying there, and Sam like pulls the webbing away from his face, and Frodo's laying there with eyes open, staring blankly.
Eyes open, yeah.
And he's not moving. You don't see any like rise or fall of his chest. So like I can see why Sam would think he's dead.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it's not like Sam's just being a freaking idiot here. It's not like he's brain farting. Like Frodo, for all intents and purposes, is dead as far as Sam knows.
Yeah, he's pretty easily able to see that he's dead, even though he's not. I mean, but he really does look like
Yeah.
But some orcs come in and take Frodo away to a tower, saying
one of these orcs got the name.
Okay.
That orc that talks, he's like, oh, looks like old Shelob's had a bit of fun. You want to know what his name is?
What's his name?
Shagrat.
All right. Where's me, Shat, and Abendigo, huh? I was trying to alter their names a little bit to fit it more. I don't know, whatever. It's a thing. Anyway.
There's a thing with this orc as well that kind of confuses me.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was just bad makeup or bad paint on the actor or what.
But he's actually hot.
No.
No? Oh, no. Sorry.
I don't know what it is. If it's either like a mistake when they were, kind of like painting his back and his skin and whatnot to give it kind of that green, like orcish look, or if it was intentional or what. Because when you see his face, it's like green. He's got all the disgusting, gross, like misshapen teeth and whatnot, and he's got the gross face and just ugly. But as he leans over and checks Frodo, you see his back, and it's normal human skin color. It's not that same like greenish brown color to it. And so like I said, I don't know if that's like if that was not intentional, okay, whatever, not a big deal. But if it was intentional, that makes me wonder.
Yeah, like why it's like that.
It makes me wonder why. And based off of that wondering why, I run into two conclusions. If this was intentional.
If it was intentional, what are your conclusions?
Number one, this is an orc that his face being exposed and whatnot has turned this green color, and he's been disfigured and gross and whatnot. And it's just kind of like that part being exposed, and his back is not typically exposed, so it doesn't get all gross colored, right? Or number two, this is a human in disguise.
I think that my own conclusion is that this was not intentional and the makeup was just not there. Yep. I think that's the most reasonable one, but that is an interesting, like, that'd be kind of cool. And it'd be kind of cool if they took like a side story and like played off of that mistake and just had like somebody, right. I don't know, that'd be kind of funny too.
There's some like fan fiction stories out there for it, like, because it's like
regarding that in particular.
Yeah, regarding that in particular, yeah. Like, there's some fan stories out there, like, either this is like a human in disguise spying on, Mordor, keeping an eye on it, or this is a human in disguise that has betrayed his own kind, being like maybe once being a member from the Kingdom of Gondor and got cast out, or what have you, had to flee, whatever, and has disguised himself to find his place among the orcs, so on and so forth. But yeah, the most likely scenario here is it was just a mistake, or they missed it when they were doing the makeup. But anyways, as he's checking out Frodo, though, we do hear him say that he goes like, "This one ain't dead." Shelob stuck him with her stinger, makes him stiff as a dead fish or something like that, something along those lines.
Yeah, but he says it out loud, and Sam learns that he's just paralyzed, and Sam's like, "Oh, Samwise, you fool," or something like that.
Yeah.
But he does follow them to that tower.
Yeah. Yeah, so he says he goes as limp as a boned fish. And then she has her way with them. Yeah. That's how she likes to feed, fresh blood.
Yeah. So we cut over to...
carry him to the tower and then wherever they go from here.
Yeah. So we cut over to Faramir getting placed on the wood and covered with oil. Pippin comes in, tries to stop them, shouting he's still alive, but he gets dragged out by Denethor, who then releases him from his service. Which, this part, Denethor also is covering himself in oil during this. Like, they just need a flame, and they're gone. And that's what he's getting ready to do.
There's, like, torches all throughout that area, too, and there's, like, some of the... Because the soldiers that are with him are some of the Citadel Guard.
Yeah.
Because they are there to protect, the Steward because they don't have a king. And in the books, at this point, there's actually a character who is a captain of the Citadel Guard, whose name is Baragon. And throughout Pippin's time at Minas Tirith, before the battle, leading into the battle, and even after the battle, him and Baragon become very close, become friends. And if I'm not mistaken, Baragon's in there as Denethor's doing all this, but he can't do anything against it. His ruler is telling them what to do. Like, I'm burning alive. This is happening. Don't try and stop me type of deal. And he's a captain of the guard. He's not going to disobey a direct order like that. But Baragon is a really cool character in the books. And he's another one of those characters that we don't get to see in the movies because of, timing purposes and all that kind of stuff. Like him and the leader of the Grey Company of the Dunedain with Aragorn and them. Like Prince Imrahil, as I've mentioned. Like, there's a bunch of these different characters in the books that we just don't get to see in the movies that are really cool characters. They have really cool backstories. They do some really awesome things in different fights and just interactions and stuff like that that we just don't get to see. And it's very unfortunate.
Yeah. But right here, this actually is where I want to take our ad break real quick to see what our... stuff's going on here with sponsorships. I did re-record our Anchor ad, so we'll have that. But first, a word from the new sponsor.
Real quick before you play it.
What?
Is this a cremation sponsorship?
Shut your mouth and listen. This episode is sponsored by the Minas Tirith Cremation and Euthanasia Center. For a limited time, you can get a 2-for-1 discount. Do you have a loved one that recently passed or wants to pass? Do you want to pass? Anyone can pass here.
You shall not pass!
Who let him in here? Your in-depth listeners get an additional 20% off if you use the code ONFIRE today, so don't miss out on these hot deals.
It's funny that you put in the "you shall not pass" because Gandalf is an agent of the Secret Fire, and he even states that in that scene of the first movie.
Anyway. So, coming back.
We see the soldiers of Gondor.
Right, there's some...
They're fleeing. They're pulling back, and we see a bunch of them injured, getting assisted by others as they're falling back.
Really quick, there's fighting in the streets going on after this scene, and get your timestamp to be 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 58 seconds.
Okay.
And tell me what you see.
I'll keep that time in mind. I'll just kind of do a little narrate up until that point, because I'm like 45 seconds away.
That's fine.
But yeah, like we do see Gondor soldiers pulling back. Last time we saw them, they were fighting at the main gates. Obviously, not doing very well. They're getting overwhelmed, outnumbered. And Gandalf is calling the retreat. They're falling back to the second level of the 7 levels of Minas Tirith. And we see more boulders being launched in from catapults on fire. As we see trolls leading the charge and whatnot. And we jump over to Gothmog, who gives the order to send the rest of the troops into the city to just clear it out, kill everything in their path.
Mm-hmm.
Men, women, and children, Anakin Skywalker style.
Yeah.
And this is where we really see the savageness of the orcs firsthand, because we see it basically becomes like fighting fisticuffs here.
Yeah.
Where there's some scenes here where we see orcs and Gondor soldiers having fist fights. They don't have weapons in their hands. They are swinging punches. Orcs are headbutting the soldiers. The soldiers are like headbutting back. An orc goes and like bites at the soldier's neck. We see a troll throw a soldier across the street. Yeah, it's a brutal melee in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And I am at 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 53 seconds.
Okay, so 58. Go to 58.
Okay. See more people getting slaughtered and whatnot as
Yeah.
orcs and soldiers are still fighting. Are you talking about the warg?
No. There's a person or an orc. Are you at exactly 58?
I'm at 59.
Go to 58.
56.
It's a brief scene.
58. Are you talking about the orc that's like skipping through?
I don't know. There's an orc that looks like Darth Maul.
Now I want to find this. Let's go to 48.
It's 58.
Yeah, I know. I'm
But-
just going back a little bit.
Okay.
Are you... Oh, gosh. I'm trying to... I see this one orc right here on the right-hand side of the screen that may be a little bit...
It was on the right-hand side, and it was a brief resemblance, but I was like...
Yeah, I'm
kinda
guessing
looked
you're
like
referring to
Darth Maul.
that one. Yeah, he's grappling with a Gondor soldier over there.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
but,
Pippin finds Gandalf. What?
But we like I said, I did mention we see the warg here that Gothmog was riding at the start of the battle as it's like it's dragging a Gondor soldier by his foot as he's like trying to swing at it with its sword, as it's just trying to like drag him to a corner to kill him and eat him alive.
Yeah. So Pippin finds Gandalf and tells him what happened, and they ride away just to get stopped by the Fell Beast and Witch King.
Deleted scene.
This is an extended
where we see
part.
Yep, this is an extended edition scene where we see the Witch King land on his Fell Beast.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the Witch King shatters Gandalf's staff before they hear a faraway horn.
And here's the thing, though, with this as well. They made this a deleted scene, which truthfully does not make sense to me, because this is a very important scene.
Yeah.
So part of this is a deleted scene, right?
Yeah.
Gandalf's staff being broken is deleted scene.
Okay.
You don't see his staff broken. Or no, sorry, this whole section is deleted scene, because basically it goes from Pippin saying Denethor's lost his mind, he's going to burn Faramir alive. They go to ride off. And then it jumps to right here at the end of the scene where the Witch King is sitting there and he hears the horn. Then he flies off.
Interesting.
But why they left out the rest of the scene baffles me. Because it's a staff, whatever. It is Gandalf's magic focus.
Yeah.
Like, this is what Gandalf uses to channel his magic. Gandalf is, and he even says it in the second movie, Gandalf is what Saruman was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Which means Gandalf, powerful AF.
Yeah.
Like Gandalf is, other than maybe Galadriel, maybe Galadriel. Gandalf's the most powerful dude in Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Other than Galadriel and Sauron, and it's a
Okay.
maybe Galadriel. It's a maybe
Yeah.
Galadriel, because Gandalf is basically an angel, yes, but Galadriel's been around for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. Like she was alive before the First Age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like she has experience and all that kind of stuff on her side. But Gandalf is basically an angel. As I said, second, if not third, most powerful dude in Middle Earth. And the Witch King comes and just destroys his staff like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Which, based on that, actually means the Witch King is more powerful than Gandalf. By that logic. Because Gandalf is using his staff, like we saw in the first movie, using it, I'm assuming he's going to try and make some sort of barrier between himself and Pippin and the Witch King. And the Witch King just, it's not even destroyed, he shatters it.
Yeah.
It's not like it breaks in half,
apart.
it shatters into pieces. Sends Gandalf and Pippin reeling off of Shadowfax. You know, and it's a big deal. This is supposed to be a very powerful, it's not just a staff, it's a powerful wizard staff that has magical elements to it itself. It's not just all Gandalf. Most of it is, but it has magical properties itself.
Yeah.
And the Witch King just goes, bop.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, granted, the Witch King is a very powerful sorcerer anyways. Because, yes, in the first movie, Aragorn says that the 9 ring wraiths, or the 9 Nazgul, were kings of men. But per the books and the actual lore, they are great. They're kings, warriors, and sorcerers of men. So you have a mix of those three, the most powerful that Sauron could find. And the Witch King, being the leader of the 9, would have been this extremely, insanely powerful. He is a sorcerer, hence the name Witch King. You know, very powerful sorcerer of his time, which we don't actually have time frames of where each ring wraith came from, who they were beforehand. We don't know. And I think I mentioned before, the only 2 that we actually have names for, any sort of name for, is the Witch King of Angmar, and then Khamul, who is the second in command after the Witch King of the 9. And Khamul was a, I want to say he was an Easterling. Khamul was before becoming a ring wraith, but that's all we know.
You mean he dressed it up as a bunny rabbit?
Yes. Yep. He was the Easter Bunny. But no, that's the only information we have on this. We don't even know how powerful the Witch King was before becoming a ring wraith. But then he becomes a ring wraith, gets that extra power from Sauron. And I know I've said it multiple times on the short span of time, but this scene is just one of those, like, it really shows how powerful the Witch King really is. Because he beats Gandalf so soundly. Yeah. And if the horns had not gone off to pull his attention, I would say 99% chance Witch King kills Gandalf and Pippin here.
Yeah.
If the horns didn't go off.
So I still don't understand. This happens quite a bit in movies where something's just about to happen and then there's a distraction.
Right.
But quite often I feel like, for example, in the Clone Wars, I am on one of the episodes that has to do with Lux Bonteri when they go and see Death Watch. And I forget how exactly it comes up, but Pre Vizsla is basically just about to kill Lux. And then somebody's like, wait! And then he turns, and then stuff happens. And it happens like that, and especially like in this situation, it's like, I feel like often somebody is like so dedicated on killing someone. Like, why does that distraction keep them from just going bang and then looking, you know?
Yeah.
But that's just something I've noticed a lot lately in different shows and different things.
Most other media, I would agree with that. This is one specific spot where I don't agree with that for 2 reasons. Number one, when the Witch King hears the horn go off, he obviously is going to turn and check out what's going on. Because it's it's
Well,
an
and with
outlier.
him,
It's something that doesn't belong there, right?
true, and also with
And
him
so-
though, the manner he would do stuff is a little bit different.
Right.
It's
But-
not like
but
a
he
simple
hears-
trigger pull, but
he hears the
still.
horn, and he turns and sees what's going on. Well, again, they don't have guns or blasters or what have you, so it's not a trigger pull. It doesn't have a bow and arrow to just shoot an arrow.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
And so since he turns and looks, because again, that distracting noise comes out, it's something that doesn't belong. It means something else is happening somewhere that has not happened before, during the battle. He loses the momentum in this fight. He has all of the momentum up until this point. But he gets distracted, even though it's just for a second. I would say he does not know if this second gives Gandalf time to recover and prepare to attack. Number one. And number two, the position that the Witch King is in, he is the general. He is the man in charge of this army. And as he turns and sees, he sees another army approaching. So his first duty now is to deal with that other army. I'll come back and deal with the wizard later. So any other situation, if it was a normal foot soldier, one of the other ring wraiths, I would 100% agree. Why did they not just finish him off? But since it's the Witch King and he is in charge, it does change it a little bit. And again, like the episode in Star Wars Clone Wars, why didn't previously just finish him off and then go deal with that? Because he's right there going for the stroke. In this situation, again, Witch King is backed off a little bit. He's got the momentum, but Horn, I lost the momentum. I got to go deal with that as well. Just the very
I would agree with you there,
specifics of this
actually.
one changes it. But like most other medias, I 100% agree. Like, why not just finish him off? Especially if it's a media with guns or blasters or what have you. I agree with it. 99% of other medias, yes. This one very specifically, no.
So I would agree with you. I'm agreeing with you with this, but another one just popped into my head. Remember on the arc in the Clone Wars, and I know we're supposed to be talking about Lord of the Rings here, but the one with Pong Krell, where the two have committed treason, whatever, because they went against him and they're just about to get executed.
Yeah.
The clone troopers are just about to pull the trigger and they're like, wait, stop this nonsense. It's like, okay, everybody's going to just be like, what does he have to say? Like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot that is just like they're just about to get killed. The suspense is dry. And then it's like all of a sudden it changes when
that
really.
One, though, again, I know we're on Lord of the Rings with Star Wars for a quick second. That one's on Dogma because he's like, I guess I'll wait and hear what they have to say, when Dogma could have just been like, fire. Because the rest of the clones are waiting for their order, Dogma's the idiot that's like, yeah, I'll hear him out. I'll hear what he has to say. I guess I'll do that.
But overall, lately, I have been like every single movie, every single show, it just has become, and not every single, I shouldn't say that. There are some exceptions. It just seems too predictable. It's the same formula for every movie, it seems. And I've grown tired of just watching movies. Lord of the Rings, there's so much other stuff going on that it's different,
Yeah.
I would hold it differently. But like there are some similarities.
Right. Well, because like Lord of the Rings
it just gets so old.
Lord of the Rings has the main story, truthfully, which is Frodo and Sam. Truthfully, that's the main story. But then you have like the separate stories. You have like Gandalf and Pippin, and you have Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. You have Éomer, Theoden, and Éowyn, and Merry. And so like you said, they've got like 4 different stories going, at least in the third movie, 4 different stories that it's branching off to all these other things where you see the same like kind of typical tropes and stuff like that, but there's so much other stuff going on that you kind of just don't worry about it.
Okay,
but anyways,
let's continue because this is
Theoden, or not Theoden,
the chilling moment.
The Witch King hears a horn blast go off right as he's about to strike at Gandalf to finish him off. And as we said, he looks over and sees what's going on. And that's when we get the view of It actually cuts over to Gothmog real quick, and he turns as the horns are blowing, and we see the riders of Rohan appear on the horizon there. And we see their battle line, and we see King Theoden at their head, along with Éomer and another one that we don't actually see him, but we hear his name is Grimbold, another leader of Rohan. And they've of course still got what's his name? It's not Hama. Hama dies in the second movie. Oh my gosh. I'm drawing a blank on his name now. It's driving me crazy. Excuse me. 1 second.
Okay, hey, I'm going to write down the...
That's what it is.
Dang it. Okay, well, either way, really quick, I'm going to write down the time because I'm going to go switch over laundry and then I'll be right back.
Okay.
Not going to take long. I just need to do that because I want it to be done by 3. And so, anyway.
It's already 3:01. You're late.
Shut up.
5 minutes later.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay.
Just jot down what time I got back. Okay.
So, like I said, we've got the Rohirrim have arrived here at Pelennor Fields.
Yeah.
With Theoden in the forefront, leading them forward, and he calls out to 3 different people as he surveys the field, seeing the armies of Mordor attacking Minas Tirith, and he tells Éomer to take his troops down the left flank. He calls to Gamling to follow his banner, the king's banner, down the center, and calls to Grimbold to take his company right after they pass the wall. And so Grimbold is actually a character. Again, he's one of the soldiers of Rohan. He's like a captain of Rohan. And so in the second movie, where we saw that extended edition scene where they find Theodred's body, Theoden's son, they find him alive there at the Fords of Isen. Grimbold actually fought at the Fords of Isen with Theodred. He was one of the captains there at the Fords that actually survived. And he's a fairly renowned warrior within the kingdom of Rohan. He's very skilled. And we only get his name in this, and we can assume one of the riders that are in front of the long line, one of them is Grimbold, but we never really get a specific of like which one.
Oh.
Or like we don't really get an appearance of him. Like we don't get to see what he looks like.
So you really quick in this area, you had me make a note, said Rohan armor.
Yes.
So that's something I want you to. I'm reminding you of as you requested.
So
where you want to talk about that is up to you. But
in the books, they have a description of Rohan armor, which was interpreted a certain way when a cartoon version of Return of the King was made.
Yeah.
And that interpretation and decision-making on the producer of said cartoon film made the armor basically like a chastity belt and essentially a sports bra for the Rohirrim armor. And in the books as well, it talks about Éowyn being disguised as a Rohan warrior. And so in that cartoon rendition, we see her in that outfit, basically a chastity belt and a sports bra made out of metal.
Yeah.
And she is disguised as the typical Rohan warrior. Which means in that rendition, and possibly in the books as well, the Rohirrim look like they're wearing a metal bathing suit.
Interesting. Wait, so was that being very specific to the book? Like, was that an accurate depiction? Do most people think? Or were you saying that's just how they took it, and then Peter Jackson took it this way and like made it what we see here? That's what I'm wondering. Like
real quick.
Which one's accurate?
Book description.
Also, how does she disguise herself if there's that much like?
Exactly.
If there's not that much armor, like how?
Exactly.
Unless in the books she was chunky.
But regardless though, in that cartoon rendition, they showed a scene a little bit further into the fight with Eowyn, like I said, basically wearing a metal bathing suit for armor. And again, in the books, it says that she was disguised as a standard Rohan warrior. Mm-hmm. And since she was wearing that in that depiction, that if you want to call it multiverse Earth or Middle Earth of Lord of the Rings, whatever, that's how Rohirrim warriors dress.
I see.
Like, and again, this is like medieval and whatnot. So it's like the women did not fight.
Yeah.
So it's like that's how the men dressed when they went off to war.
I see.
I just found that really funny. I wish I could find the description in the book for like the Rohirrim war soldiers and stuff, but I don't really want to scroll through Wikipedia just to try and find it all.
Right.
But back to the movie though. Théoden gives his quick instructions of sending different companies to different locations on the battlefield when they go for their charge. And this is the scene that I've told you before. Like every time I watch this scene, I get like goosebumps.
You get aroused.
I get goosebumps. But yeah, I get goosebumps every time I watch this scene with the speech that Théoden gives and the Rohirrim music that goes as the charge commences. And right before they charge, they give out a yell of death. Théoden goes, "Death!" and everybody repeats it 3 times. And one thing about this as well, and again, from the books they're not yelling death for the enemy. They're yelling, like, acknowledging that they're going to die, but they're charging in regardless. They're yelling for their own death, not the death of their enemies. Kind of like an ultimate sacrifice, face their deaths with strength, what have you.
Is that why you always talk about dying?
Yeah, yep. Exactly. But we see Théoden call the charge. We hear all the horns get blown as Rohan charges 6,000 strong against the armies of Mordor. And this is a scene when they were filming the movie that they had to be extra. It's this scene, and there's another specific scene where they had to be extra careful. And so basically what they did to film this scene, they took 200 to 300. They were able to get 200 to 300 extras, and they had them do this charge, and they just took that 200 to 300 and moved them about on the screen, essentially like a copy and paste to make the en masse charge we see. But like I said, this was a very dangerous scene to shoot, and basically what they had to do was every morning before they'd go out to film, they had to go out and scour the fields that they were filming on to make sure there was no holes, like gopher holes or anything like that. That way, as they're filming, the horses don't trip up and people don't actually die, And so, like, they had a bunch of different shots they had to film for this whole battle on the same plot of land. So, like, every single morning they had to go out and like thoroughly inspect, and they'd go through, and if they found rocks, they'd take them and collect them and get them off of off the ground, and they'd patch up holes and whatnot in the ground from gophers or rabbits or what have you, all for safety reasons and stuff. Because you have 200 to 300 horses charging through a field. If one in the front collapses, Well, guess what? Like 60 others are going to go down from the initial shock and unable to avoid and whatnot, and people are going to get thrown and actually die and all that fun stuff. So.
I see.
But we see them charge forward, and we see the line of Rohirrim hit the line of orcs, and this scene really does justice to a cavalry charge as we watch it, because for the most part you don't actually see. I mean, you see plenty of Rohirrim swinging their swords left and right and have their spears out and whatnot, but you more see just the impact of the horses hitting the orcs, killing the orcs.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rohirrim keep up that momentum, keep up that speed, and we just see them plow right through row after row after row of the orc army. Like I said, really doing justice to a full-on cavalry charge, and how devastating it could be, especially against a force that, yes, they have spearmen, and that is the counter to a cavalry charge, right? You do a spear wall or a shield wall, what have you. You try and get the horses to run onto your spear. But when you have spears like the orcs have, which are like pitchforks and essentially giant fire pokers and very crude short spears, it's not effective at all. Like not in the slightest. You might get an orc with your spear, quote unquote spear, a little orc, but at that point you're still dead, because by the time your spear hits it, it's already running into you full speed, crushing your skull with its body. Now, if you had like the Gondor soldiers out there and you had a Rohan charge against some Gondor soldiers, spear wall, spears out full length, yeah, you're gonna lose some soldiers, but the horsemen are gonna be pretty messed up. But orcs, very crude. So the orcs of Mordor are very scavenger style for their equipment that they use. And so if you look very closely at different sections as you see these orcs, and throughout this whole movie, every once in a while you'll see an orc with a really like rusted and damaged looking like Gondor shield.
Mm-hmm.
Or you'll see an orc with like what essentially looks like a couple boards nailed together. or some that look like a freaking wooden pot lid. Because the orcs just, if they find it on the ground, they pick it up and use it. So like that's why the orcs never look uniform, right? That's why they're wearing all sorts of different helmets and different weaponry, armor, shields. Their swords don't even really look like real swords. It's probably just metal that's kind of haphazardly forged into the shape of a blade, and they give it a sharp edge. It doesn't matter how crude it looks.
Yeah.
Because again, orcs really don't care, and they'd probably rather just throw the sword to the side and bite at your neck or your face or gnaw on your arm. They're fairly savage. Yeah. But after that initial cavalry charge, we do jump back over to Denethor as he's drinking oil.
Yep. Making sure he gets that explodey effect inside of him too.
Yeah, like he's pouring the oil on his head, but he's got his mouth like wide open. I can't imagine that tastes good, man. Like,
probably not.
I mean, I guess at this point, I guess why would he care? He's gonna kill himself anyways. But like, I just have to imagine that doesn't taste good.
Yeah. In this too, I think he notices that Faramir's still alive, but he's like too far gone to really like do anything. I don't know.
Yeah, so,
he looks down and like we see Faramir move. It's almost like he's got to recognize that.
Yeah, like we see because some of the oil hits Faramir's face, lands like on his cheek or something. He kind of flinches for a second, kind of turns his head a little bit. Now, whether Denethor actually sees it and is too far gone to register or not, I'm not sure. But I have to think that's what that is, though. Because I could have sworn he
noticed. Yeah,
he's looking right down at Faramir. There's no way. There's no way he doesn't notice. You know. But yeah, like you said, I think he's just too far gone at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That either he notices and doesn't care, or his brain does not even register that he did notice it. So, like something in there, like I think he's just too far gone, where it doesn't click. I think. But
Yeah,
we
but he
we
orders
see one of the guards. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, he orders his men to set fire to the wood, and so
Yeah.
one of his men does step forward. Gandalf busts in and hits Denethor again, then pushes Faramir off of the pile. Denethor attacks Pippin before he gets flung back onto the fire pile by Gandalf.
Yeah, because right before Gandalf knocks him off, he throws that torch they took from one of the soldiers down on the pyre.
Yeah, and he notices Faramir. Like, he finally notices that he is alive.
Yeah,
and it does register.
He sees Faramir open his eyes ever so slightly.
Right, and then when he notices it, he himself catches fire and then runs an absolute marathon, eventually falling off the castle platform. Because have you seen that, where they actually map it out how far he ran?
Yeah, because we see him run, right? What we see is we see him run out of that hall that he's in where they're doing the initial pyre.
Yeah.
And then we see him run to that big old open area where like the white tree is off the edge of it.
Right.
But that's not from the throne room.
Right. No, it's from like further.
Yes. So basically you have point B where he jumps off and falls to his death.
Yeah.
And then point A, from point B to get back to point A, you go all the way back this long open area past the tree. Instead of going through the throne room, you go up and around back behind the throne room, further back to their cemeteries where all the old kings are buried. Like, you saying him running a marathon is no joke, and how he ran that far on fire is beyond me.
Yeah. I think, honestly, and I love the choices Peter Jackson made with these and like the production of it and everything I do. I'm not like crapping on it. But part of me feels like they're just like, this would be a really cool scene, and this would be a cool end to him if he were to fall off this. And so they wrote that down, and then somebody's like, wait a minute, but they're over here. They're like, well, yeah, but this is, just cut it. You know?
But as we see as we see Denethor jump and fall to his death, we get a zoomed out view of Minas Tirith, which is heavily covered in smoke, and we can see fires all throughout the city. But it kind of baffles me how high up some of said fire is, because Minas Tirith is built in 7 layers. It's like an onion. It's got layers.
Right. Funny thing. Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan, Merry and Pippin, have a podcast called The Friendship Onion. Just you saying that in Lord of the Rings made me think of it.
But Minas Tirith is built in 7 layers, right? Seven stories. They're not stories because it's much more than just stories in terms of height, but 7 levels. And there is fire up on the 6th level of Minas Tirith. The last time we saw the orcs pushing into Minas Tirith, they were pushing in on level 3. They're trying to get to level 3.
Yeah.
So how is there fire on level 6?
I mean,
those catapults cannot launch that high and that far from where they're stationed.
Yeah.
I get it's a movie, right?
Yeah.
But physics alone, those catapults cannot launch that high and that far.
Unless the
maybe
fire
if they were
just
using
some of the fire spread maybe up.
Maybe
probably not likely. I'm just trying to reason with it.
They're not
honestly
together to spread like that though. So basically, you see a fire right here, right, Jacob? You see a fire right here on level 2.
Mm-hmm.
The next closest fire is all the way over here on level 2. The next closest from that is in between them and up on level 3. Like it's not close enough to spread from level to level to get up that high. Now, if the orcs were using trebuchets, maybe they get that high because trebuchets, the way they're designed, get more height and more distance, but they take longer to reload. So you're kind of trading speed for height and distance. But the orcs don't have trebuchets. They have standard catapults.
I don't know.
So yeah, it's one of those things. It's just one of those small things. It's like the realistic part of it is like, well, how the heck is there fire up there?
Yeah.
I mean, unless Denethor is just like lighting everything on fire. I don't know.
Well, heck, I mean, when he fell off, I know it was at the same time as him falling, but he was on fire. I don't know.
But the big thing here with this kind of zoom out is seeing fires throughout the city. It covered heavily in smoke. And it pans over Pelennor Fields as we see the Rohirrim charging through.
Yeah.
We go into more Orc versus Rohirrim, and at one point we do see Éomer grab one of the quote-unquote spears. It's got 3 prongs to it. It's not even a pitchfork. It's got 3 prongs. It's got like 2 next to each other and 1 in the middle below, and thrusts it back at an Orc. And right here, it's just kind of like battle, slice. Get some shots of like Éomer, a shot of Theoden, Merry, and Éowyn.
Yeah. A lot of fighting.
But the big part right here though is we see the orcs retreating, and the Rohirrim think they win, but then they hear the Aliphants roar. They hear the horns of the Haradrim as they come in, approaching the battle. And we actually see, I'm going to pause this and count the Aliphants we see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We see 20
of them.
Yes. All lined up, charging towards the Rohirrim as the orcs are falling back, heading towards the Aliphants. And again, these Aliphants come from the kingdom of Harad, which is one of the kingdoms aiding Sauron, obviously. And they've got these big old, like, almost like baskets attached to the tops of them, where they've got Haradrim archers up inside. They can shoot down.
Yeah, they've got a little hut on top of them. Yeah. It's kind of like a post, that people are.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's almost like a tower put on top of the Aliphants, which are just elephants for anyone that's getting confused on how I'm pronouncing it.
They're just, they're larger.
They're elephants, but within the world, they're called Aliphants.
Right.
Or Mumakil. Short word for that is Mumax. So the creatures themselves are Aliphants. When they have
Mumak
the baskets,
just sounds like a sounds like a Super Mario, like Mario Kart, like racing place, because they got Moo Moo Meadows. I am just picturing like Mumak Court or something, It's like it just sounds like something kind of similar. I don't know,
but
probably just because of the Moo part.
But the creatures themselves are called Aliphants. When they've got the tower basket, whatever you want to call them, on their backs, they're known as Mumakil. And within the Lord of the Rings community, because you have like the Battle for Middle Earth and Battle for Middle Earth 2 games, which there's a sub-mod for those called Age of the Ring, which gives rehauled graphics, all like fun stuff, whatever. In that community, you can make Mumakil as one of the different races you can play as, and everybody just refers to him as Mumax, as like a short, quick nickname for him instead of saying Mumakil.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but as we see the Mumakil, because they've got the towers and stuff on them, we can note that they do have essentially a driver for them. Yeah, holding ropes that actually go down into basically spikes stabbed in the ears of the elephants that they pull to direct them. And as well as that, they have different Mumakil or different elephants have different things attached to their tusks. So one might have a bunch of spikes attached to each tusk. Another one has some spikes, and then it has almost like a spiked chain running from tusk to tusk in front of it. So as it sweeps and runs through, it's tripping anything that tries to run at it head on. And like I said, we see this long line of Mumakil charging towards the Rohirrim. Theoden gives a quick, reform the line, charge. They blow the horn as they charge again. as we see the Moonkill coming forward and the orcs retreating behind them. And so the thing with this as well, at least up until this point, this is our first time seeing the Haradrim take part in this battle. Up until this point, we've only seen orcs per the movie. Per the books, we would have already had the Varags, which are the Easterlings. We don't have Rune yet because they're coming up from the river, and we would have seen the Haradrim cavalry, which the Haradrim cavalry, like I said earlier, would have fought against Prince Imrahil and the Gondorian cavalry. And Prince Imrahil had a special group of cavalry known as the Swan Knights that were from his own province that he brought with him to Minas Tirith that helped fight against the Haradrim cavalry, doing that really excellent maneuverability and taking out a force much bigger than their own. And we would have seen, like I said, we would have seen the Varags and fighting alongside the orcs. And I really love these movies, but I just wish they could have shown more of the Battle of Pelennor Fields, because there's just so many, like, all of it's good, but there's so many really, 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 really good parts in the book for the Battle of Pelennor Fields that we just don't get to see in the movie. And another point with this as well that I'll say, because at this point we're kind of like halfway through the Battle of Pelennor Fields, right? Right here at this point. It's kind of the halfway mark from when the Rohirrim have arrived. Per the movie, it seems like it's been a short, maybe a couple hours, maybe, right? It goes by pretty quick because it's a movie. But like I said, in the books, this is from the time the Rohirrim arrive, it's a full 3-day battle nonstop, where all of the Rohirrim are fighting for 3 days straight. And Mumakil would have been all throughout and fighting as well across those 3 days. But I can understand why they broke it up here in the movie, because you get this really cool entrance of the Alifants coming in, and another charge from the Rohirrim against them. But as they charge, we do see the Rohirrim really get messed up on their initial charge. Yeah, like, because your best bet against the Mumakil going here is what they end up eventually doing, which is keep a distance and shoot at them with bows and arrows. Not a full-blown cavalry charge, because you're sending horses against elephants. I'm sorry, the horses are not going to win.
Yeah.
And like right as they charge too, we see the Mumakil sweeping their tusks back and forth, like throwing 6, 7, 8 horsemen at a time left and right. And there's one point even we see a Mumakil like go to swing with his tusk, and we see a horse get stuck to the tusk because it's got spikes and stuff and like embedded into it. And like I said, we see the Haradrim firing their arrows from their big old wicker baskets. And it's one of these things where like the initial charge does not work, and they quickly readapt to archery to try and combat this. We do get a scene though as well where Éowyn and Merry are riding through the battlefield, and Éowyn takes Merry's sword and has him steer, and she kind of does like a slash one leg, slash the other leg, gets both of the back legs at the same time to bring down one of the Mumakil. We do see Gamling riding underneath one of them as he's like shooting up at its stomach underneath it. And as we watch this though, different Mumakil, we see like hundreds of arrows through their legs, or into their legs, into their undersides and whatnot, and they're just trudging along like almost like it doesn't affect them. They got like tough elephant hide skin.
Yeah, they got that 100x Boromir.
Yeah.
And they ain't even dead. Anything with arrows sticking out of it is some variation of like how many arrows and then Boromir. Yeah.
But one of my favorite scenes here with the Alifants and whatnot is when we see Éomer take his spear, which my question is, how the heck did he get this spear back? Because we see him when the initial charge happened, he's sitting there like holding it like he's gonna throw it as he's just charging through the ranks, yelling. He never throws it. And then at a different point, we see him slashing with his sword. So he got rid of the spear at some point, and now he's got a spear again. Where did he get it? Anyway, it's not important. But he uses the spear, and he throws it up and sticks one of the drivers with the spear, and the driver falls off to the side, tugging on one of the ears, causing the elephant to veer to the left, right into the legs of another one. It goes down. The other one collapses on top of it. It's like a medieval car wreck or semi wreck, pile up, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those are kind of the more notable points at this part of the battle for Pelennor Fields, and kind of those couple different spots with Éomer and then Éowyn and Gamling. We do see another point where Theoden's kind of directing some archers to bring down another one, and as that one falls, it does throw Merry and Éowyn off of their horse, leave them on the ground, and Éowyn is unable to find Merry. At this point as well, we kind of get to another key point where we see the Witch King start to come in. But right before he comes in, we do see a kind of a... Theoden sees Éowyn fighting, and obviously he can't tell that that's Éowyn just based off of appearance, but like Theoden would know her fighting style. Like, she is a shield maiden of Rohan. She would have trained. And so it's kind of like a, wait a second, is that who I think it is? kind of moments before he ends up getting back to the fighting. We see Merry actually kind of holding his own against a couple orcs and some of the Haradrim.
Yeah, he kills some of them.
Yeah. We do see a few more spots of Éowyn killing some orcs and Haradrim by the downed elephant. We also see Éowyn fighting Gothmog.
Yeah, bee sting, potato face.
Yeah. Deleted scene, by the way.
Oh.
And she catches him on the back of the leg, knocking him to the ground, but we don't actually see him die.
Yeah.
And right before we get to the Witch King showing up on the battlefield, it jumps back over to Gondor soldiers holding one of the inner gates. And it shows a troll standing there banging on it with a giant hammer trying to break through. And we kind of have this heart-to-heart between Gandalf and Pippin.
Yeah, they confess their love for one another.
Yeah, and they make out.
Yeah, it's really weird, actually, because of their size difference. Pippin is swinging off of Gandalf's beard.
Yeah. But no, Pippin and Gandalf have like a heart-to-heart where for like one of the few times we actually see that Gandalf actually does care about Pippin.
Yeah.
Like he's not insulting Pippin here. It's like a genuine
Gender
care.
reveal party.
Yeah, genuine gender reveal party.
For resulted in a forest fire. That's what happened to Minas Tirith. That's where the other fires come from. Some dingbat was like...
Oh, God.
It was dry season.
Some Gondor soldier was like, all right, we're going to fire this catapult, and whatever colored flame pops up, that's the gender of the baby.
Yeah. Instead of a California forest fire or whatever, it was a... I don't even know. Anyway.
Yeah. But we have this moment between the two of them where Pippin... It's like they both kind of have this admission of like, we're going to die. And Pippin kind of expresses his fear, and Gandalf kind of helps give him comfort, like death is not the end. There's, you see a bright light, and
he shares a bit about like what life beyond where they are now is, and Pippin almost looks like relaxed, kind of like that wouldn't be so bad actually. So
and I mean Gandalf would be the one to know.
True. He's been there. He came from there and he went there again, and now he's here. I don't,
Jesus? He did
Actually,
rise from the dead.
well, so I know that throughout. I mean, Tolkien was Christian,
Yeah.
and I know there's a lot of parallels
Yeah.
that he incorporated into his work. And I mean, thinking about it, I think that's one of them.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause
Gandalf
he did
dies
die.
and rises from the dead and
Yeah,
comes back to fight for the fate of mankind.
yeah.
I
I mean, honestly,
yeah.
I don't think that that's a loose connection. I think that's
It's
that's
a very
intentional.
it's a very biblical connection there.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah, I mean,
but I mean,
So
I
he
mean,
would
and he was
know.
an angel.
He would know.
He was an angel. He got sent down by
Yep.
LOTR, which is the god of this world.
yep.
So I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm 100% serious. I think there's a couple of breakdowns where, at least in writing, they do outline every parallel, and it's like, whoa, yeah, there's a lot.
yeah.
But no, regardless, he would know. Yeah. So he's
Yeah,
sharing like what it's
yeah.
like and stuff. Basically, what heaven is, you know.
Yeah, and because what he's talking about though actually is because we do actually have the name of a place for this, which is Valinor,
Oh,
which is where the elves are going to the Undying Lands.
yeah.
That is heaven, in terms of mortals and of elves. That is their heaven.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so Elrond makes the comment to Gandalf in the first movie, you know, like, my people are leaving these shores. Like, we cannot stop the evil of Mordor and all this other stuff. He's talking about the elves leaving Middle-earth to go back to Valinor. And we actually get some scenes of it in the Rings of Power show. We get some scenes of Valinor. So it's that's what he's talking about. He talks about you know, like green pastures, flowing rivers, you know, all that kind of stuff. But and the thing with that as well though is, because I could be wrong, but those that die, those that are not elves, don't actually go to Valinor.
Yeah, like elves is.
Like, the elves can
But-
go there because
Well,
they're
but
undying.
Gandalf's an angel, I guess. So if it was that, then you know. But he's
But
telling this
Gandalf
to Pippin.
Yeah, when Gandalf
So, like-
died in the first movie, he actually returns to, because Valinor is basically like the heaven for the elves. That's where they came from.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, Undying Lands, what have you. But when Gandalf dies in the first movie, he doesn't go to Valinor.
Right.
Because Valinor is separate from where Ilúvatar and like the other angels that he did not send down are located.
Yeah. So that's.
Yeah,
He may be talking
Valinor
about
is
that.
different. Yeah. So Gandalf, I feel like Gandalf would know about Valinor as well, and he's probably using that as a descriptive device for Pippin,
Yeah.
right? Because it does sound very similar, especially when we see the scenes from the Rings of Power show. That looks like what he's describing here. So he has knowledge of it somehow, some way. He's a heckin' angel, so why wouldn't he have knowledge of it? You know.
Yeah.
But that's not where he goes to. He goes back to where Ilúvatar is with the other angels that are still chilling there with him, and then Ilúvatar sends him back to assist mankind. In
So
defeating
thinking about it,
Sauron.
too, you know, the stereotypical like picture of heaven isn't necessarily what like the Bible were to describe, because it's kind of like bringing with like entering a new creation,
Right.
but it being separate from like I don't know, it maybe Valinor is that kind of, you know, place without
Yeah,
fault, that thing, but not
Valinor
like this
is
kind of
kinda
like
the physical representation of.
yeah,
is-
I don't
is
know
kinda
how I
what
was
it
trying
is.
to go with that, but yeah.
Well, and because even in Valinor, though, unless you're an elf, because there's some specific characters that do get to go to Valinor, and I'll get to that once we get to the end of the movie, so we do like a conclusion of type of deal. But unless you're an elf, if you go to Valinor, you will die in Valinor. Like, just because you go to Valinor does not mean you don't die.
Yeah, it's not like this eternal place. It's still
Right.
physical.
Right. So like
Yeah.
elves will not die there, but elves are immortal. So like
Well, yeah.
elves won't die in Middle Earth unless they're killed.
Right.
Right. But like if a dwarf or a hobbit or a man or somehow, some way an orc, somehow got to Valinor, like they would still die of old age, because they are mortal.
Yeah.
It's just known as the Undying Lands because that's where the elves go, and the elves are undying.
Anyway, let's get back to the movie.
Yeah. But yeah, Gandalf gives this kind of reassurance talk to Pippin.
Yeah.
And it jumps back to the Pelennor Fields. And there's one scene right here, right after it jumps back, where it shows a Rohirrim rider get hit by one of the tusks of an elephant, and it sends him flying into the tusk of another elephant that whacks him and sends him flying some more.
Yeah.
And then at this point it does show Theoden rallying the troops around, but then we see the Witch King come in and grab Theoden's horse and fling him around and throw him.
Yeah.
And we see Theoden hit the ground with his horse on top of him, broken and dead. The horse, not Theoden. The Witch King orders his fell beast to basically eat Theoden. He says feast on his flesh, and we see Éowyn step in and is like, "I'll kill you if you touch him." Nah.
Yeah.
But we do see Éowyn cut off big old fell beast's head. Two big
Yeah.
strokes, which is pretty impressive.
She freaking gets him.
Yeah. And I have to say as well, because if we think about this, right, we see the condition of the weapons of Rohan in the second movie, right? Because Aragorn holds that one sword that one guy he's standing on the fire and he's like, they say we won't last the night. They say it's hopeless. And Aragorn like picks up the sword, swings it around, tests its balance. Like, this is a good sword. That sword was that sword was covered in so much rust. It had so many nick marks. The blade was not sharpened. It was blunt as can be. And that's the condition of weaponry that we have to go off of, besides the king's blade, which is well maintained, which of course it's going to be, because it's the king's sword. But, like, I guess Éowyn takes good care of her blade because she chops that thing's head off in two slices, which is impressive, because that is a thick neck that thing has.
Thinking about it, though, it's not like she uses
bone
it
as well.
She practices with it, but it's not like it's seen battle or frequent use, probably.
It has, though.
Oh, has it?
Seen
Okay.
battle, yes. So, again, deleted scene, not even extended edition scene of the second movie. There's scenes where we see Éowyn, and they actually filmed this. They decided not to use it for not even for extended scene. But we see Éowyn in the glittering caves where all the women and children are hiding and whatnot.
Yeah.
And Uruk-hai actually pushed through into the glittering caves, and we see her defending.
Kill a couple of them.
We see her fight some of them as the women and children are fleeing through the mountains. As Aragorn's like,
Gotcha.
Send them to the mountain pass. We'll hold them off.
Okay.
Some of them get through. She does actually fight some of them.
So if it's a deleted scene,
combat experience.
If it's a deleted scene, though, why? I guess unless it's directly off of the book. So I'd go off of what the book is saying.
So Éowyn, she does have combat experience before this.
Okay.
She does.
Because I was going to say,
because at the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Just going off of a deleted scene, it's like, it's deleted. So is it canon? So you got to look at the book,
right? Because they filmed those scenes. Number one, to try and show some Éowyn fighting, and number two, because that is some scenes from the books where the Uruk-hai actually do make it to the glittering caves. Éowyn does see combat. She does have experience behind her, as well as training, because like I said, she is a shield maiden of Rohan, so she would have trained. And she even makes a comment in the second movie, like, we learned a long time ago that women dive from the sword just as men, or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
And so like, the women would learn to fight as well in Rohan. Maybe not like official training, but maybe like prepare themselves, practice something like that.
Yeah.
You know. But anyways, yeah. But she kills the fell beast in 2 swings of her sword, which is even if that sword is sharp as can be, that is impressive just by the thickness of that neck and the fact that she got through bone in 2 swings. Like, people underestimate how hard it is to behead a person for like execution in medieval times. Like, there's a reason that, like you see in the movies and TV shows, where the executioner has that giant great sword that they have to lift with 2 hands and like heft up and swing down to cut. Where they have to use the momentum of that giant heavy sword as well as all of their strength to get through the neck.
Yeah.
Because it is that hard to get through the muscle, the muscle tissue, the vertebra of the spine, and through the muscle tissue on the other side to get through the neck. They need that big of a weapon with all the momentum of it and all of their strength to cut the head off. And the fact that she just swings through with like an arming sword is very impressive.
Yeah, or you could just use a chainsaw like ISIS. Anyway.
Well, no, the machetes. Come on.
I've seen a video, but either way.
I shot a video. Come on.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Well, anyway, movie.
But yeah, so she slays the fell beast. Again, very impressive. She picks up one of the shields just kind of lying on the ground from one of the Rohirrim that have fallen, and she goes to fight Ye Ol' Witch King.
Yeah.
Who has his sword and he has his flail. Now, this flail is ungodly large. And so when they were filming this part of the movie, the actor that is in the suit for the Witch King gave comments talking about how heavy this flail was because it was made out of iron. Like, this is an actual iron flail that he has to swing around. He's like, we had to do take after take after take, and my arm was freaking dead after, like, take 2. Because basically what happened was they put a normal-sized flail in there. And Peter Jackson goes, that's not big enough. Let's make it bigger. They put a bigger one in there. That's not big enough. This is the Witch King of Angmar. We need a bigger flail.
Mm-hmm.
So they make a bigger one. That's not big enough. Come on. We need something really menacing and just to show the impact of the Witch King and how powerful he is. So they have this ungodly... So this flail is like... So the flail in general in medieval times was not a good weapon. Like, it is a make-believe weapon. It was not really used back in medieval times. You might have seen it used every once in a while, but it was not used as commonly as you see it in some movies and stuff. But this flail is like 7 or 8 times larger than the typical flail. And it is made out of iron. And so this dude is lifting like a 60 or 70 pound flail on a chain and swinging it around. So like when you see the Witch King swing it this to the left and get pulled by it as it hits the ground, that's because it was actually pulling him with its weight and momentum.
Wow. So
sorry, the look on the actress, I'm drawing a blank on her name, that plays Eowyn, that look of like fear and whatnot, that's genuine because she didn't know how big that was going to be when they started shooting this scene.
I'm just picturing like they had to be really careful with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure they used a stunt. I would be surprised if they did not use a stunt double for the actual swinging and whatnot of it.
Yeah, like when she like moves out of the way
she's
and
like
stuff
dodging
like that.
and stuff.
That has to be a stunt double.
But yeah, it's just like that. It looks so cool and so menacing, but it's so ungodly, unrealistic to use.
Yeah.
Like, if you saw someone walking through a battlefield with this frickin' weapon that the Witch King is wielding, that would probably be the guy I would want to go and fight.
Because while he's struggling with that, you can just off him.
Yeah, he looks intimidating, but all I have to do is dodge the first swing of the flail.
Yeah.
And then I can move in and
plus it's on the end of a chain, so as soon as it's in air, it's really kind of hard to change the trajectory of it. So
the danger you run into with a flail though as well is you can't block it.
Yeah. And she discovers that
it-
segue
yeah.
back into the movie because it shatters her shield. Let's get on with
Yeah.
this. It's 3:00.
But if you block a flail, you have to do it perfectly where you actually block the head of the flail on your shield, like we see Eowyn do. Because if the chain hits, it wraps around the shield and hits your arm. So in that aspect, a flail is very dangerous. But a flail of this size, all you gotta do is dodge the first swing, and then it's gonna bury into the ground. And as they're trying to wrench it free, you can go in and freaking kill them.
Yeah.
But yes, Eowyn takes the flail right on the shield, shattering it like you said, and it actually, if I'm not mistaken, it actually breaks her arm.
I mean,
from the
she's
impact.
definitely hurt by it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what happened.
If I'm not mistaken, it actually breaks her arm. And at this point, though, we do see it right after that. We see it jump over to the Corsair ships arriving here at the ports right outside of Osgiliath with the remainders of the orc army. And we see that one orc that we've seen a couple different times where he has the skull on top of his head.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like the right-hand man to Gothmog. And he's like, come on, you sea rats, get off your ships. And we see Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli jump down. And this point right here, because the three of them go to charge, and we see the army of the dead come out behind them and charge with them. This part right here is another really big difference between movie and book. Because in the books, obviously the Grey Company is with Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, but the army of the dead is not. In the books, the army of the dead only help them take out the Corsairs and take the ships. Is the only thing they do. And then Aragorn releases them from, or holds their oath fulfilled, releases them from their curse, and they live happily ever after. But we see the army of the dead charge in right behind Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, cutting down those few orcs remaining, and then it jumps back over to Eowyn and the Witch King, and he picks Eowyn up by the throat and kind of says something like, "You were a fool to challenge me," type of deal. He says, "Fool, no living man can kill me," which again kind of goes back to what Gandalf told Pippin when he first talks about the Witch King. He's like, he stabbed Frodo on Weathertop. It is said that no man can kill him, or no living man can kill him, whatever. Kind of a prophecy about the Witch King. But Merry stabs the Witch King in the back with his blade. And it is the blade that Aragorn gave him. So that's why it has such an effect on the Witch King that it has. Because of that magical property to it. That comes from, that I kind of talked about a little bit before, that magical property from the Kingdom of Arnor when it was forged. That's why it has the effect that it has on the Witch King.
Yeah, and because he said no man can kill a Nazgul or whatever, and then Merry stabbed him, and then Eowyn says, "I am no man," and stabs him in the face.
Yeah, and so in the book, she has a little bit of a longer speech to it. It's something along the lines of like, "I am Eowyn, shield maiden of Rohan. I am no man. I am no man, for I am a woman." Stab.
Yeah.
But
the Nazgul violently implodes.
Yeah.
And then Eowyn searches for Merry before...
No, not yet. That's after the battle's over, yeah.
Oh, that's after the... Oh,
that's after the battle is over, yeah. We're almost there because the Army of the Dead has arrived. But when Eowyn stabs the Witch King in the face...
Okay.
That, again, if I'm not mistaken, that breaks her other arm.
Oh, maybe.
And the impact, the energy that surges through her sword into her arm, if I'm not mistaken, it breaks her other arm. But it cuts back over to Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, and the Army of the Dead as they're cutting through, and Legolas and Gimli are having their contest counting.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, you are correct. It does show, for a brief second, it shows Eowyn like Merry trying to find him.
That's what I mean. And then Bee Sting Potato Face crawls after her.
Yeah.
She's not like searching the end of the battle. No.
Yeah. But this part right here where Gothmog comes after her again is another extended edition part. And this is where we see his death. We see Aragorn come up behind and catch him in the back of the leg again, I believe. Or no, takes his arm off and then Gimli comes in and catches Gothmog in the chest with one of his axes to finish off the orc general. Which how Gothmog survived this long in the battle, anyways, is beyond me. He's a crippled orc who is like shambling across the battlefield, has one good arm, one good leg, and somehow he's alive through most of the battle. But we get to this point here where we get to see Legolas do his parkour moves, hardcore parkour, with one of the Oliphants as he jumps up one of the tusks onto the leg, and he starts climbing up the Oliphant via the arrows sticking in its legs.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts, shooting some of the Haradrim out of the wicker basket. And he actually grabs one of the ropes and kind of swings back and forth and slices one of the rope harnesses holding the wicker basket up there, sending it toppling over, and puts 3 arrows into the top of the elephant's head. And as it goes down, he skateboard slides off its trunk, landing, and we get the comical line from Gimli, "That still only counts as one."
Yeah.
As Legolas just killed an Oliphant and like 30 Haradrim soldiers and that.
Yeah.
But we get towards the end of the battle here where, for the most part, everyone's dead, and we see the army of the dead kind of like swarming over the remaining Oliphants, killing them, and they make their way into the city and actually kind of like put out the fires with their ghosty energy and clear the city of bad guys.
Yeah, but they flood in, and it's like battle over. They clean up the remainders.
And because that's the thing that this is probably one of the very few things I don't like with the movie. Which, granted, yes, it's cool to see the army of the dead come in to save the day. But, and granted, it's right here at the end of the battle. But it's like...
Too easy.
Yeah, it's too easy.
I don't know. Yeah.
And because, I mean, in the books, it talks, it describes Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, the Great Company, arriving from the ships, and they turn the tide of the battle. The 33 of them turn the tide of the battle. Not the army of ghosts that show up.
Yeah.
Because Aragorn is the best swordsman in Middle-earth. Period. He is the best swordsman in Middle-earth. He trained with the Dunedain of the north with the skills of Arnor before it fell. He trained with Elrond and Elrond's 2 sons, Elrohir and Elrost, who actually also accompany the Great Company for bits and pieces here and there and fight alongside them and whatnot. But that's a different story in the matter entirely. They're not actually here for this stuff. But he trains with the elves. Elrond, a great warrior of the elven people. Like, he is the best swordsman, as I've said, in Middle-earth. And bringing the army of the dead here to end the battle, I think diminishes how valuable Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli are. Because within the orc ranks and whatnot in Mordor, like, there are stories of the 3 of them and how skilled in battle they are. There are stories that spread across Rohan and Gondor and the kingdoms of men and dwarves and elves and whatnot of how skilled and badass these 3 are. Like I said, Aragorn, best swordsman in Middle-earth. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli are basically an unstoppable force on the battlefield. And because they have the army of the dead, that really diminishes that.
Yeah. So
it's like a quick, easy scapegoat.
Yeah. So I really do need to wrap up here, and I'm on I've literally got this much left, like a paragraph, and then we are gonna end it. But in the aftermath of the battle, Éowyn finds Theoden, and they exchange some words as he's dying. He's pretty badly wounded. Theoden tells her that his body is broken and she has to let him go. He is going to go to his father's in whose mighty company he will feel no shame. Whatever. He gives his farewell type of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like not fully Viking-esque, but kind of like a I died honorably type of deal. I'll feel no shame meeting my forefathers in the afterlife, knowing that I died valiantly. I went down swinging, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Meanwhile, Aragorn talks to the ghosts and releases them of their service.
Yeah.
And they fade away with a relief. Kind of, they're like, almost like finally.
Right.
Then we see our main characters, walking, looking over all the dead. Pippin finds Merry's cloak. Éomer cries as he finds someone. Was that Éowyn?
Yeah, Éomer finds Éowyn laying there unconscious.
So she's not dead. I thought he had, so that made most sense, but I was like, wow, he's really, really torn up. Who is this? And it almost was like, but it almost looked like somebody that he found that was for sure dead. But finding her like that, it's
granted,
like still,
she's unconscious, laying there in the middle of a battlefield. Know.
Yeah. True.
And Aragorn actually takes note of it as well, as we see Éomer, on his knees holding Éowyn, crying.
Yeah. We do move to nightfall though. We jump ahead a bit, and Aragorn washes Éowyn as she's still unconscious, cleaning her up a bit.
He's not just like clean; he's using elven magic to heal her.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is what's happening, because as we see on her arms, they're like bruised purple and have like what look like almost like nasty cuts, but not cuts. It's weird.
Yeah.
But severely bruised. So if at the very least, if her arms were not broken, they were like heavily bruised, like bone is bruised terribly. You know? And so he does use elven magic that he's learned from the elves. Surprise, surprise. To heal her. A majority heal her for the most part, but again, like with any wound, the time is the real healer there.
Yeah.
But again, this part right here is deleted scenes as well, as he's healing her, and then we do see Éowyn and Faramir because they're both
it jumps
in
ahead
like
a
this
bit,
healing,
and she's
they're both in this healing house within Gondor or within Minas Tirith. It's like a well-known area for like wounded and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they kind of have like a relationships kind of starts here. And in the books, it goes into detail with this, where they spend a lot of time in each other's company as they're both healing from their wounds and kind of and fall in love with
get to know one another, fall for one another, all that.
Yep.
But yeah, they exchange glances like they see each other, and that's what's indicated, but that's all that's shown here. Pippin, we see searching the battlefield for Merry, eventually finding him.
Like
what?
I said like still searching the battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
Because like the last we saw Pippin,
wild
it was
fast,
daytime.
too.
Yeah, the last we saw Pippin, it was daytime. We don't know how much time has passed between last time we saw him and now, but it's like not quite full blown night, but like the sun is definitely going down. Like it's dark out.
But he finds him lying underneath a dead orc. And right after this, we switch over to Frodo. There's like more back and forth, but right here, I think, is a good place to end this episode. We're at 2 hours and 57 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, we really just kind of end here, like you said, with Pippin finding Merry, and they exchange a few words. And and because, like, as we know, Merry and Pippin are like really close and more of like a brother relationship between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so like Merry's like, are you gonna leave me? And Pippin's like, no, I'm gonna take care of you, and like grabs his elven cloak and covers him with it to keep him warm. And then we cut back over to Cirith Ungol, like you said, where
the tower,
are chilling.
Yep.
And
but that's where
that
we'll end
scene
this
starts
episode.
with orcs grunting and yelling in distance.
You see the captions,
yeah.
Okay. Well, as usual, I guess. I mean, I don't know. We still got more to go, so I don't know if we really want to give closing comments right now because it's not really at a close.
Right. I'll say this, I guess, as kind of a closing comment, because the Battle of Pelennor Fields, just like the Battle of Helm's Deep, is one of the key battles in the War of the Ring, which is what this chunk of time is known as. And like I've stated several different times here, there's a lot of cool things that happen at the Battle of Pelennor Fields within the books that they couldn't put in the movies. And so if you guys are interested in that, definitely go check out the books. They're really good. And there's a lot of really cool characters in the books that we don't get to see in the movies as well. But the Battle of Pelennor Fields is one of my favorite battles in cinematic history. And it really is just like a top of the line in terms of Hollywood battles and stuff. It's a really top of the line battle in Hollywood style.
Hey, so I want to point out something right now. Spotify, if you have it, has had an update to where they now have some different selections of audiobooks. I just did a quick search and somebody has made a playlist. And I don't know if this is an official thing or it's just something somebody made, but there is audiobooks on Spotify of Lord of the Rings. And so there's a whole playlist going through chapter by chapter of each of these movies. So if you're listening to us on Spotify, click the little star thing on our page and give us a rating. But then check that out and hear what we're talking about right now.
And I mean, with those as well, I mean, you could listen to the audiobooks for these.
Well, you can listen to them probably on YouTube, but listen to them anywhere.
On YouTube and whatnot. But like, if you got a long drive that you're going on, throw on some Lord of the Rings audiobooks. Cause
don't just throw on NCIS and watch it while you drive like Evan does.
I will buff.
I don't know if your car will buff when it gets in an accident.
Jacob,
because you're watching TV while driving.
The rule is it'll always buff. The question, though, is who is it going to buff for? Just because it'll buff does not mean it's buffing for you. It's buffing for someone, but it does not mean it's buffing for you. But it will always buff, okay?
All right, fair.
But yeah, so like, there's so many cool different things that get cut out of from book to movie. And my recommendation is always, if you're going to go read the books or listen to the books as an audiobook or whatnot, treat them as two different adventures with the same goal.
Yeah.
Just because of all the things they had to leave out to, make the movies shorter.
And any time, I know a lot of people, when a movie is based on a book, there's always comparison and the movie suffers. You do have to view them separately because in the end, the movie is an adaptation of the book. It's not a direct word for word depiction,
Yeah.
There's got to be some compromises. There's got to be some changes because honestly, they don't translate over. They're two completely different forms of I don't want to say media because is a book technically media? I don't know.
It is,
but I think I know what I'm trying to say is at least evident. They're two separate forms that they have to be represented differently, so. Another
difference, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, between the movies and the books for Lord of the Rings is because we saw Aragorn get the sword from Elrond in the last, or in not the last episode, but the one before that. He got Anduril, forged from the shards of Narsil. In the books, Aragorn gets that sword in the Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh.
And he carries it with him through the whole thing. From start of the Fellowship all the way until the end of the third book.
Yeah.
But that's another kind of big difference between the two.
Yeah. But my disk space allows for not much more time. So I need to.
Anyways, yeah. So go leave reviews on Apple Podcasts. 25 reviews will get us a live stream where you guys can interact with us as we cover whatever content we're doing at the time. As well as every 1,000 downloads will be blooper reels. Were you able to check where we're at on that, Jacob?
No, I forgot.
Well, we'll figure
I said
out
that I would, and then
we'll figure out where we're at with that at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so every 1,000 downloads will be a blooper reel. You guys can hear all the bloopers that Jacob decided to cut out because apparently they're too inappropriate.
Then you can check out Patreon for those that I didn't even think were suitable for bloopers.
That's true, yeah. But other than that, we've got the link in the description going to the Instagram, TikTok. It's got your in-depth email as well as a link for Patreon if you guys want to join our Patreon for that exclusive content.
Yep. Otherwise, whatever we're covering next episode, maybe see you then. Otherwise, whenever Lord of the Rings, our new one, comes out there. Yeah.
Yep. Till then,
Bye.
peace.
Deuces.